So good morning, everybody, and welcome to our January Live Forum. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Tim. I'm part of the sales team at Prima, and I'm your host today. So first of all, thank you for taking the time to join us. In this session, I'll be walking you through Prima Engage, which is a fully integrated CRM platform. I'll show you how I use it on a day-to-day and how our customers are using it to manage their deals, keep their pipeline visible, maintain clear, consistent tasks and notes. And it really helps me and our clients that have adopted Engage already to keep on top of their day-to-day opportunities. So just a quick note before we begin. As always, like I've said, today's session is recorded and we'll share the recording with you so you can review it later if you like, or you can share it with colleagues. This is a live session, so towards the end of it, like I've said, I will open up for the floor for Q&As. So please feel free to drop any questions into the chat as we go, and we'll address them later. Who here is now using or in the past used a CRM application? Or maybe use spreadsheets to keep on top of the day-to-day tasks? Or sometimes, which I have done in the past, it rely on my memory. Well, I'm certainly guilty of all of those and many more. And herein lies, the predicament that you have as salespeople, as business owners, managers in businesses. That situation is trying to find a tool that seamlessly integrates with your sales data to help you focus on the opportunity to turn and help you drive more sales. And that's really where Prima Engage helps. It helps your teams understand your clients so much more, helping you to understand their needs, their demands, and keeping you close to those businesses who in turn help you push forward your business in the pursuit of increased revenues. So how does Engage do this? Right, so let me show you. Let me share my screen. Okay. So I'm just going to go to in this case Google Chrome, and I'm just going to go to primaengage.com, and I'm just going to put my username and password in. Okay. When I log in, I'm going to select, I've got multiple databases, so I'm just going to select the database I want to log into. You'll just see one on this list here. And when I click Engage, this then brings me into what I term the home screen, the main dashboard within Prima. And this, as a salesperson, is giving me key metrics of what I need to do on a day-to-day basis. So first of all, and bear in mind this is demo data, so first of all, I can see some great sales statistics. So I can see where I am in January compared to December. I'm 92% up in terms of turnover. December in comparison to November is 97 down. You won't see these spikes, but this is my demo data, but it's going to give me key metrics of information that's going on within my database. I can also see what quotes I've got currently in the process of that I'm running through at the moment as well. And I can see what deals. Now we treat deals and quotes to be different, and I'll explain the differences as we go. I can then see within those deals where they are in that funnel, where they are in that pipeline. So I can be aware of what's going on, with whom and when. But most importantly, and the area I use this most for, is my tasks. So I've got a number of tasks that are due today. I could look at ones that are due in the past. And if I click in any of these tasks, it jumps me into them straight away. But if I want to look at all of my tasks for the day, I can click the option down here, similar to what you see within the ERP. All the modules exist down the left-hand side. So I've clicked into tasks, and here are all my tasks that I've got. Some are due, hence the reason why they turn red. Some are in the future, hence the reason why they're green. But if I want to break down my criteria and look for some specifics, so I'm looking now for accounts that have got, company names that have got KPMG in the name, that are currently outstanding, where I'm the owner. And I can see I've got one here, which is annual contract review. So if I go into that review, I've got lots more information relating to this task. And if I click into it, I can see the date being the 30th. So when I'm in this task and in this journal entry, I can see a number of things. So first of all, I can see telephone numbers, I can see websites, I can see email addresses. And if I click on things like the website, hyperlink it and opens up their web address. If I click on the email, it opens up my email client and so on and so forth. Even to the point of if I click on the telephone, I've logged out of it, so you can see it's for demo purposes, but we've got this fully integrated into a system called Ring Central. Now, beautifully, Ring Central, when if this is connected in, you can actually record your conversations, both a audio conference and also AI dictation. So you've got full notes on both sides of things. But I've got lots of information that's coming beautifully from the ERP. Now, please remember, Prima sits within the one ecosystem. So regardless of the platform it is, it will then be reporting within the same database. So if you update the ERP, that in turn will maybe update Prima Go. Well, certainly would update Prima Go, and if required, and will then in turn update Prima Engage, and likewise for all the other platforms. So if I've got some marketing tags and marketing segmentation set up against things like the company, I've also got them against the contact, and you're in control of this. The designation of how this looks and feels and the criteria against it is designed around what information you want to hold against those companies and those contacts. So for example here, this client's got a gold rating. Yeah, the personality type of the individual I'm dealing with is analytical. These are tags that I've set up in my database, but you can have and consistently set up your own. Now, within here, I can see a full conversation history, and this could be going back weeks, months, even years. I can see lots of information. So if I'm wanting to make a, this task is due today, and I want to speak to them, and I need to just quickly summarize what's going on within that account, you can't really do that quickly because there's so much information going in here. Now I could spend 10, 15, 20 minutes, maybe longer reviewing that information, or we have this ability here called note summary. And when I click on this is part of where Engage really helps. This is the AI technology we've immersed into Prima Engage, that will return back key areas, 5 key areas. Reviewing those notes, it's come back saying what the client needs are. What are the upselling opportunities we have of these accounts? What additional notes have we got around it? And what are the concerns, the pain points, and where have competitors been mentioned? And I can then quickly review each of these key areas and make that conversation with that customer. Now, when I'm in that conversation, I've also then got key information over here of where they are and what they're doing and how they're performing. So I've got some very basic information in terms of sales information here. But if I click on this option here, this arrow here, I can see, again, I've done this for demo purposes, but this is dynamic. This is going to return back your categories. So this customer is buying a lot of general supplies from me. But if your categories would be different, you'll see the ratios of information. And for example, they're buying one category out of 27 within my database. I can see when they last ordered from me, which is only 2 days ago, and what items have they got on back order. I can see returns ratios if there are any, what the percentages are. So it gives me key metrics of information, and I can obviously review the information, and I can check and do things like, I want to find out where Amazon have been mentioned, right? So I can type into here and return that back, and it's going to pull back the criteria of where that information I'm looking for has been returned. If I want to create a new note, I just simply click here, add note, and I can type in whatever I want. So I could say, spoken with Simon, call next week. Yeah, that's a typical one for anyone that does this role like me. You're not always going to get through to the people you want to speak to at the time. If I've not spoken to them because they're out the office, I would make this an unsuccessful call. If I've spoken to them, I treat this as a successful call. Now, these metrics and these drop downs are all designed around you. But if I say I want to call that person back on the 3rd and save that, that will then list that action for me to do on the 3rd of Feb. When I'm in a note, also, I should have done that. If I click this as actionable, I can set a trigger time and date for that to happen. And when I log in, it will then show and list out all of my trigger actions at the top here. It's an alert system. So if I've created an alert to call this person back on the 3rd, but I must send them an email on the 1st, I can set an alert to do that for me, and then I can action that from within there. Now I can also see lots of other information. I can see all my other tasks, all my quotes that I've got currently going with that company, and all my contacts within here, and I can just jump between them. I've also got something which I'm really very proud of. One of the things that we developed here is a company strength, an account rating. Now this is based on the quality of information that you have against these companies. If it's 100%, then you've filled out everything you possibly can. If it's 80 or 60 or below, then there's room for improvement, and it will guide you where you need to do that to improve that information. If I want to create a new task or I want to create a new deal, etc., I can just click the create button in the top right hand corner here, and within here I can just click task. Yeah, and then I can select a date of which I want that to start. So I'm going to set that for today. I'm going to be the owner. I can set priorities. Yeah, so if you've got an exhaustive list of things you need to do for the day, and you go, right, I've got 100 tasks to do, which would be a lot, but if I've got 100 tasks to do, I need to sort them by priority order. So I'd look at my critical ones first, my high next, and so on and so forth. I can select categories. Yeah, so how do I want to mechanize this, and how do I want to look at it? Well, I want to set this as sales priority. I can then set this as against an individual, and then I can then put a subject. And then, would help if I could spell. And then any description against that task. I can then open that task, and then I can then build conversation of more information around it. When I'm building this new one, if it's something I need to maybe insert a CSV file because it might be customers giving an export or a PDF document of a series of invoices that I need to match against, I can upload those documents to the system, and I can then store them against that task. So if the customer's given me a series of invoices that they've received from Staples, and I need to then utilize that as part of a mechanism to price compare, rather than having them on an email system, I can have them directly in the Engage platform, which is then, if you're given access, is permission viewable by others as well. The other area I talked about here was deals. Now for me, deals isn't necessarily quotes. These are projects, might be like I said, around a contract review, and I might be looking at things and moving them backwards and forwards within a pipeline. So I've just got some simple view here. I've got 5 stages. You can have as many stages as you wish to have, and the labeling against them is again defined by your need and requirements. So I've simply got one called prospecting, lead qualification, proposal, negotiation, and in the midst of closing. And I can then review this information, and I can go into any of these deals and review the context of where we're at. I can then see the information of what's happening within this. I can then change the probability. So if I come in here and edit that deal, I can change the probability of that quote, or sorry, that deal progressing forward. I can then change the date, so it's not going to happen on the 4th, and I need to move that back. Yeah, I can select a contact if I've got one against the company and update it. Now this here gives me and managers and directors of businesses the ability to see and review what's going on, because I can then look at anyone's dashboard and I can filter this by a number of options. You can have multiple dashboards, so every salesperson, every CSR can have their own dashboard, and then collectively you can then see that information as a total as well. So things like, if I come in here reporting, if I go into the reporting option here, I'm just going to select all, and I'm just going to select all information here. When I search upon this information, again, mine's very limited in terms of information, but I can see what's happened, where things are up to in the process. If I've missed stuff, or if things aren't happening and I thought they would, I can click and see that information. If I click on these options here, I've then got, I can see here it says 3 site visits, but obviously one of those is multiple within one of these companies. And if I then click in here, I can then see more of the detail of what that conversation was. So as a manager within the business, a supervisor in the business, they can keep a watching brief on what's going on within that company at any time, and then do updates and set new triggers and set new alerts for people. Obviously, all the reporting within this is there to be exported into Excel spreadsheets or PDF documents if you wanted them to be as well. This is obviously reporting upon your data. So within your system, you can filter upon lots of things to then return back company information as well as contacts. And if you put in part information, like if I put in here school, it will return back all the schools within the database. So I can filter upon any of these actions and set that information up and then go and review that information and apply it. Again, if you update it in here, it's going to update in the Prima ERP and likewise in Prima Go. That is what we wanted to show you today. Is anyone got any questions at this moment in time they'd like to discuss?
I have a couple questions. Is that all right?
Yes, ask away. Yeah.
Regarding the report, this looks really cool, by the way.
Thank you.
The reporting, is it customizable or is it all canned reports?
At the moment they're canned, but we are going through a development phase whereby it's still there's things that are being enhanced all the time. So we're getting releases on a very frequent basis every couple of weeks. So if there are reporting functionalities that you feel you need, please let us know and we can look at those and address them.
Okay, and then is there any integrations with mail clients?
Sorry, I lost.
Any integrations with email clients like Outlook?
There is, yeah. I've not had that release yet. It's going through some alpha testing, so I'm on the beta list. So I've not seen that yet. But in essence, what you can do is you can, if you click the email client, if you click the email address, it will open up your current email client. Well, we're doing some work to integrate the two systems. So the integration with like 365 and like is in the throes. It's actually been done. I just haven't got access to that yet, and I've not seen it working. So I know it's happening, but to what degree I've not had the training on that as yet.
Yeah. Okay.
If
Yeah,
I could just make a comment for you there, Jonathan, Tim. The email, there's two elements to the email. When you are sending, because we've got campaigns built into this product, and when you send campaigns, you can't just use your own local exchange or whatever. So we have we've basically shopped around the market and found the most used product and the lowest cost sort of thing for bulk sending, and it's pretty inexpensive for for the sort of volumes we're talking about. So you'd be able to do two types of emailing effectively, emailing back and forth with your customers, and but also campaign emails, which will be using this third-party app that clicks in. Yeah.
Will that also do automated follow-up emails?
Yeah, that's the aim. I'm not sure whether we have an automated reminder and stuff. I'm not sure whether
there's some very, very clever products like Mailer out there that will based on what happens will then make decisions of what then happens in terms of next campaigns. Jonathan, I'm not sure if we've got to that point yet with that. One of my other colleagues, Steve Dennis, I can find out and we can come back to you on that.
Yeah. There's a couple of I'm just looking at the chat now.
Yeah.
So, but feel free, anybody else, if they want to add something to the chat. But as a general comment, this product has been probably 3 years in the release, and obviously it's an integrated part of Prima. So a lot of the work, and I mean, Prima already had tasks built in, but this is obviously next gen UI. We're talking about a user interface, and obviously it's browser driven, and but to a large extent, I mean, it's all part of your local Prima, your Prima database, and shares the same information. So you can go into your quotes, your orders, and sales teams will not even, effectively not even be able need to go in to do a quote and stuff like that. And some of the things we wanted to do in the back end, if you like, so managing stuff in grids, managing prices. We've now done through Engage, and we are also for speed and finding stuff. We are going to do that through. We've improved that, but we're going to improve it further by using effectively elastic, a bit like on the web. So why shouldn't we inside our own ERP systems be able to search like a web customer? So you'll gain those sort of advantages as well. But it's not it's a release product. We've got quite a lot of customers using it already.
We do.
And it's rolling out. It was released at the end of October in the UK, and is you can always expect with a new product to be some noise, but I've got to say very little has come back, and it's been because it's already built in a way. It's been onboarded because you've already got history in your system, you've already got your customers and contacts. When you go to third-party CRM systems, you don't have those things. So the start point is it's already populated. We have some scripts where we create a load of tasks for groups or all your customers for callbacks, for example. It's very difficult to do that in some of the third-party systems. So, the integration, even though we can't possibly compete maybe with HubSpot, which is also very expensive for usage. We're not trying to compete with inbound marketing, but in terms of the general use, callbacks and stuff, we feel, and the feedback we're getting is, customers are coming off other CRM systems and saying, even though those systems have been well-known names, they're coming back into our system saying, oh, it's great because it's fully integrated and it does exactly what we need it to do. So
Absolutely.
We won't do it's not all, we won't do everything that everybody needs, and it will be a journey, just like Prima. We're constantly upgrading and improving it.
And what would be, if people want more of an in-depth, this is designed to give you a bit of a snapshot and an overview. So if anyone wants to look at things in greater depth and understand how it would correlate to your database, feel free to reach out to me or anyone in the CS team, and we'll happily spend the time to present it and go through, and so you can see in more depth if you wish. So yeah, just feel free to reach out to me or anyone in the CS team, and we will go through and discuss any questions you may have specifically.